Hello and welcome to this tutorial for users of Microsoft Word 2016 for the Mac. In this tutorial we're going to start looking at spelling and grammar correction in Microsoft Word. First of all, we need a document to correct, so I'm going to go to the File menu, and you'll notice there that I have the Open command, and you'll also see a keyboard shortcut option as well, which is the Command key and the letter O. But I'm going to come down to the next option, Open Recent, and as the name suggests, you will see there the most recent documents that you've used. And at the top there, Fred's Movie Classics Report, which is the document I created last time. I'm going to open another version of this document for this particular tutorial, so I'll leave this option for now. And instead, come down and click on the More option there. And that brings up another dialog box with more detail on my recent documents, including the location and obviously the complete file name as well. Now, there may be circumstances, especially if you're sharing a computer, where you don't want people to be able to see the documents you've looked at recently, and so there's a way that you can actually remove documents from this list. And let's say, for example, I would like to remove this ABC Adventures MS Word Overview. All I would need to do is right mouse click on the document name, and you can also get this shortcut menu by using Control click if you have a single button mouse. And with the shortcut menu open, simply click on Remove from Recent. Now, as it happens, I don't want anything from the recent list, and I'm going to come to this list of options here on the left side of that dialog box, and at the bottom there, click on Open. I'm then going to click on My Mac, because that's where the file is located. And you'll see that I'm in Documents, and you'll see there two documents, and I want the first one. If you can't see the full document name, by the way, all I would need to do is put the mouse pointer over the document, and after a few moments the full file name appears. So I'm going to double click on the file name, and here's the document open, and it's slightly different to the one I created last time in that this one contains some spelling and other types of error. And you'll see there, for example, in the second line there's a spelling error, and every time that Microsoft Word detects a spelling error, it will underline that word with this red squiggly line. If you look a bit further down, you'll see a blue squiggly line, and those indicate grammar or some other type of document error. So I'm going to go through the document and correct these errors now. One way of fixing errors is to simply read through the document and manually correct the errors as you go. So if I come to this first error here, what I would do is put the mouse pointer over that word and right mouse click. Again, you can also use Control click with the single button mouse. And we get the shortcut menu, as you can see here, and the two options at the top there are improving and importing. We also see ignore all and add to dictionary. We'll look at those later. But to correct this error here, I'm simply going to click on the correct word, improving. And you see their word fixes the error. So if we come down to the next one then, this is in the first paragraph. On the right there, we've got interst, which is clearly a misspelling. If I right click on that, we get the correct spelling offered, which is interest. Simply click on that. So you can go through like this and correct errors item by item. That's not too bad for a short document, but in a longer document, that might become a little bit tedious. So there's a way that you can get Word to help you fix the document problems. And that is to go to the Review tab, click on Review. And over on the left there, you'll see the proofing section. And the first button is Spelling and Grammar. So if I click on Spelling and Grammar, we get the spelling and grammar dialog appear. And so I'm going to go through the remaining errors in this document and use this option to help me correct them. The first error encountered is remove extra space between words. And you can see that in the first box that it's highlighting the two words it's got a problem with. You can click into this box and correct these errors manually if you want to do that. You can also choose ignore if you're happy with the existing text. Ignore all occurrences or skip the problem and go to the next sentence. But I'm actually going to fix the problem here. So you can see there the suggestions are those same two words but with a single space, which is the correct option. So I'll simply click on change here. Next we have a spelling problem, and you can see there that word says not in dictionary, and the word is equipment, and you can see that it's missing an E. And further down under suggestions, you can see the correct spelling of the word. So I'm going to click on change. You can also, by the way, click change all if you feel that word may have been spelt incorrectly throughout the document. But all I need to do here is simply click change. Next we have another spelling error. This is the word business that's been misspelt, and again you can see the suggestion is correct. I'm simply going to click change again. And next we have another type of problem, a repeated word. So you can see there I've repeated the word please twice at the beginning of the sentence. Now in this case it might be a word that I've repeated on purpose, so you might want to consider that, but in this case I don't want the second occurrence of the word please. And this time if I come further down, there's nothing in the suggestion box, but the button has now changed to show delete. So if I click on delete, that will then delete my duplicate word, and I get a dialog box to say the spelling and grammar check is complete. Simply click OK and we're done. So that has corrected the entire document, and if I scroll back up you'll see there no more red or blue squiggly lines. I'm going to open a second document now, so again go to the File menu. This time I'll choose Open. Again in the document section on the hard drive, click on the second Word document, my spelling and grammar example 2 document, and click Open. And here we have a letter which has a number of spelling errors in it, or seems to. However, the first apparent error isn't really an error at all. It's a name that's spelt correctly but isn't recognised in the Microsoft Word dictionary, and so it gets a red underline anyway. Now before I fix this, I want you to note that there is a second occurrence of this name, and that is spelt incorrectly. So what we're going to do first of all is go back to the first occurrence which is correct, and right mouse click on the name, and from the shortcut menu choose Add to Dictionary. And when I do that, of course the red line is removed because Microsoft Word now recognises that word, but the second occurrence is still underlined in red, indicating that it's a spelling error. Now what's interesting is if I now right mouse click on that one, I get Blogsworthy as a correction. So by adding the name to the dictionary, I now have that offered as a potential correction if I spell that name incorrectly in the future. So let's click on Blogsworthy, and there we have now fixed both those errors. In the second line there's a similar problem in that this place name is spelt correctly, and so I just need again to right mouse click, choose Add to Dictionary, and that word is now in the dictionary as well. Further down in the second paragraph you'll see we have the word wonderful incorrectly spelt there, and it's also incorrectly spelt a second time as well. So if I right mouse click on that word and choose the correct spelling for the first occurrence, that will fix that one but not the second one. So what I'm going to do here is undo that correction and then go to the Review tab, again select the spelling and grammar option there, and we'll bring my spelling and grammar dialog into view, and you'll see the misspelling in the first box. Come further down, we'll see the correction there in the suggestion box, so click on the correct word, and now we have the option to change all. So if I click on change all, you'll see that both of those misspellings are now corrected. And finally I'll just click OK to confirm the spelling and grammar check is indeed complete. Now Microsoft Word does correct things behind the scenes without you even realising as well. So what I'm going to do here is just click at the end of that paragraph, press the enter key a couple of times, and what I'm going to do here is retype the first sentence of that paragraph, and you'll see Word correct errors for me automatically. Now the first thing I'm going to do is accidentally mistype the word the, and I'm going to do it like this, so T-E-H, and that's a very common occurrence where you accidentally transpose letters when you're typing quickly. So I've typed T-E-H, I haven't noticed the error. If I now press the spacebar, you'll see there that Microsoft Word fixes that error for me automatically. So let's go on and type the word accommodation, and this time I'll type it with a single C and a single M and see what happens. So A-C-O-M, odation. And there's the misspelled word, and again if I press the spacebar, observe what happens. You'll see there the word is automatically corrected. And you can use this autocorrect to your advantage to speed document creation, and that's something we'll look at in much more detail in a future tutorial. Now finally here, if you find those red and blue squiggly lines distracting as you type, you can switch the spell and grammar checker off while you're working. And to do that, if I come back to the Word menu at the top there, select Preferences, and in the Preferences dialog click the Spelling and Grammar option, which is under Authoring and Proofing Tools, and in the Spelling and Grammar section you'll see there check spelling as you type. So if you don't want to see those underlines while you're working, you simply take the check out of that box. And further down you'll see the grammar option, and just take the check out of check grammar as you type as well. But for now I'm going to leave those automatic checking tools active, so I'm going to put a tick back into check grammar as you type, put a tick back into check spelling as you type, and then finally just close the dialog. And if I just complete that sentence and again accidentally misspell wonderful, and you'll see there the red line appears again to tell me I've made an error. But this time I'm going to fix it another way. I'm just going to use the backspace key to delete that second L, which is something we'll be looking at in a bit more detail in the next tutorial, editing documents. But in the meantime, that concludes this tutorial. I hope you found some things there that are useful and you can apply it to the documents that you're working on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.